Hello, everybody, and welcome to my new channel, A Fresh Start. I'm Cindy Herbert, and I am very excited to go live and share with you my real life examples as I go through my fresh start. So, to give you a little bit of a background, I've been in corporate America or was in corporate America for 35 plus years and found myself in 2020 in a situation or an opportunity to start a brand new career and really go into business for myself. So I am broadcasting from my home. You may hear my green cheek conure. You may hear a few of my dogs in the background. I do have three of them, and with all of that, it's exciting for me to be able to start my brand new career and share what I'm learning with all of you. So my passion is learning and sharing. So with that, I decided to start my YouTube channel on A Fresh Start. And I also have a Facebook group named the same called A Fresh Start. So you can look me up on Facebook, and I will put a link below so that you can find me on Facebook. If you're watching me on YouTube, pop over to Facebook. If you're watching me on Facebook, I will put a link in there to my YouTube channel, A Fresh Start. So, as I mentioned, I was in corporate America for 35 plus years. I was a marketing executive, and now I'm in business for myself, and I absolutely love it. I will share with you there are some challenges with that in really kind of starting brand new, starting a fresh career. And so that's what made me think about creating this channel and sharing with all of you what I have learned as I'm going through my journey. So if you caught my very first video, you'll know that I did go through four sort of what I'd call high level steps to kind of get you started and get you to think about what you would need to do for what you would need to do to kind of get started if you're starting completely over, as I found myself completely starting over. So I kind of went through the four tips at a very high level. So first was to do your research, build your plan, prepare to work your plan. Number two is to pick a social media platform. Number three was to set up your office and get yourself organized. And then number four was time blocking and also organizing yourself from a standpoint of managing your time. So what this video is about, I'm going to just briefly go into my tip number one, which is doing your research. And I'm going to give you my practical tips on what I did to get myself started in my research phase. I think I've got three or four. Do I have three or four? I've got one, two. I've got four different tips for you. The very first tip that I wanted to share with all of you was a tip that many people shared with me as I started my new journey on what I got lots of advice, right? So, my friends and family were so kind to me as I was starting over and doing my research. And the very one thing that everybody kind of said to me was journal, journal, journal. Get a journal, start writing down your thoughts, and journal. I'm a good journaler anyways. I love to write. That's a passion of mine. So that was a really good piece of advice, and I did take it to heart. I did journal every day, and I made a specific time of day that I did my journaling, and I always did it in the morning when I was having my cup of coffee while the house was still very quiet and nobody was really stirring. And it was my really opportunity to reflect and in the quiet be able to sort of write down and put together my thoughts on paper. I filled up an entire journal. So you can get yourself a nice, pretty journal or a journal that you think that you would like, and start filling it up. So in there, really listen to your heart, and really do it every day. And you don't have to write a complete book, just really a few sentences, maybe a paragraph on what your heart is saying to you, sort of what your aspirations are, what your interests are, those types of things. I journaled about the weather. That was really fun, something to look back at. maybe some of the people that I had met in my new journey. But take the time to explore what interests you in your journal. So through that, then take the time to really explore, sort of what interests you at the same time. One thing that I did through my journaling is I actually used my creative side, and I did colored pencils. So each day I would have some inspiration. Sometimes I would do an inspirational quote, and then I would use my colored pencils and create a little drawing around it. So that was really therapeutic for me and super helpful. So the second thing that I did is I was doing my research. Again, I'm in the research phase and trying to figure out sort of get my footing, like, where am I going, and sort of what do I want to focus on go forward, is to create a vision board. And in that I used Pinterest, but you can also use, there's many other apps out there. The other one that's very good is called Trello. I ended up using Pinterest. I'm very familiar with Pinterest. And so what I did is I developed a board, a vision board, and I really pinned on my board the things that I was most interested in. And it could be anything from business to, honestly, I would explore all things. What are you interested in from an activity standpoint? Do you like to kayak? Do you like to run? Do you like to walk? Do you like to do crafts? Do you like to paint? Do you like to do puzzles? Do you like to collect certain things? All of those things are good to explore on your vision board because they could lead you to sort of what your true passion is about and what you want to put together for your new business and your new fresh start. So really build that board and then use that to kind of, again, reflect and have some fun with what you're interested in. Maybe you're interested in hiking. Maybe you're interested in the outdoors. Maybe you're interested in photography. I love photography. I'm not very good at it, but it's really good. So really it helps you discover sort of the path you want to take. And what I mentioned in my first video is what you want to do is develop a business around something you're very passionate about, something you can effortlessly talk about to your friends and family, maybe people that you meet that you don't know. So you really want it to be something that is more of a lifelong, something that you can feel really good about now and in the future. So really think about that as you are doing your vision board. But again, I used Pinterest and really enjoyed that. Now, what I discovered, because my background is marketing, so came out of corporate America, as I mentioned, as an executive in marketing, I really liked marketing messaging. I really liked to research and think about how people put together advertising. What is on labeling? How should products be labeled? Are there any regulations relative to that? So I have kind of a dual when I think about it, more on the creative side of marketing, but I'm also more interested in the regulation side. And so that is what really piqued my interest. And what I ended up really kind of honing in on is chemical-free products for my family, for myself and my family. So as I'm getting older, I want to make sure that the products that I'm using are labeled correctly and that I'm using things that are not cancer causing, that would be harmful to my skin. But honestly, the biggest thing was chemical free in that it did not have ingredients that would cause cancer. So that's really where sort of my path led me. And so that's kind of what I did through my discovery. So that was my tip number 2, create a vision board. And I used Pinterest. Trello is also a really great opportunity. Once you get your interest honed in on, so you've done some journaling, you've done your vision board, I would then recommend that you go in and search for sort of some like-minded people on social media. So Facebook is something that I'm very, very familiar with, and Facebook groups are awesome. You can search for just about anything when you're searching for a group, and you can get yourself into a group that you can share your ideas, you can bounce your ideas off of others, and it's a really good way for you to, kind of get a little bit deeper into what you're interested in. So find those groups within Facebook. You can also use YouTube. I used YouTube honestly a lot, and found like-minded people, maybe people that were talking about chemical free, people that were talking about products that contained harmful chemicals, and I'd listen to their YouTubes and really found myself enjoying that content that they were going over, and use that to kind of as my stepping stone to go into my business. So that was super helpful for me. So once you kind of do that and have some time, you're journaling, you've done your vision board, you're kind of finding like-minded people, you're honing in on what you really want to do, what you want to focus in on, then haul out the Google. I mean, Google is, can we even live without Google anymore, right? So use Google to find the businesses that you would like, that, that your interests point to. So I have a lot of questions here, but a lot of thought-provoking things for you to think about as you're going into this step. So do you want a storefront? Do you want a physical storefront? Do you want a store? Do you want to sell online? Do you need a website? Do you want to start a blog? And is that where you want to go? Do you want to do maybe some email marketing? Is that where you want to go? And do you want to research that even further? Do you like the idea of social marketing? That was very intriguing to me. Social marketing was not something I really had a lot of experience in from my previous corporate America days. So I thought that was very intriguing to me and really wanted to explore that even further. So do you need, how can you use Facebook or Instagram or any of the other social media platforms at this point to kind of get yourself started? So I really used Google to hone in on the kind of company that I was looking for, that I wanted to exercise my social marketing skills and build them. And some of the things that were really important to me were made in America. That was a really important piece to me. A product line that was true to its labels, true to its ingredients, that had a really good family-owned feel to it, one that had a good cause marketing campaign, and the company that I chose had that. So sort of checked all the boxes off for me. So that's an important part of what you should be looking for as you're going to take that next step from your 9-to-5 job into your next fresh start career, and make sure that the company that you choose checks all of the boxes. So I'm very excited that I did find a company that I absolutely love and checked all of my boxes. And as I move through learning more and more about that business and more about social marketing, my plan is to continue to share that on this channel. So until next week, I hope you've enjoyed the tips that I've given. Now, next week, I'm going to dive into a little bit deeper how I really viewed social media and sort of what my learning curve was there. I'm still learning, trust me. I mean, I could do an entire series, and who knows, I might end up doing that. But to kind of stay true to this series, I'm going to give you my initial reactions on social media next week. How did I get started in social media? What were my tips and tricks? Those types of things. So that's what I'm going to be talking about next week. And so if you really like my real life practical examples, if you enjoy learning about how to do a fresh start from me, please subscribe to my channel. That would be great. You can do that here on YouTube. join my group. You can hop over to Facebook and join my group, A Fresh Start. And I've got helpful tips and things that I do post within that group. It is a brand new group. It's just starting, so I would love to have you join it. And so remember, no matter what life throws your way, make sure that you sprinkle it with glitter and glow with it. So have a good rest of your day, everybody. Thank you very much for tuning in, and I look forward to my very next episode. And until then, take care.